You wake up at dawn in a cell. The walls are stone. The air smells like sweat, blood, and urine. You don't remember when you last ate anything that wasn't spoiled. Your shoulder is still bandaged from last week's fight, and it's starting to smell like infection. Through the bars, you can hear the roar of a crowd. Even though the arena won't open for hours, they're practicing, warming up. Thousands of them, just outside these walls, waiting to watch you die. You have one day, maybe less. Maybe you fight today, maybe you don't. But either way, you have 24 hours to decide what kind of person you're going to be when this is over. And that choice, the one you make in the next few hours, might matter more than whether you actually survive. So what do? This is not a story about fighting. This is a story about what you choose when fighting is the only option left.
Let's start with what's real. Rome in 80 AD is the most powerful empire on Earth. The amphitheater you can hear outside these walls, the Colosseum, is only a year old. It's the largest stadium ever built. 80,000 people can fit inside. On a fight day, it's completely full. Today might be that day, but you're not thinking about the crowds right now. You're thinking about survival.
You were not born a gladiator. Almost nobody was. Archaeological evidence from Naples, from Pompeii, from mass graves across the empire tells us something brutal about who actually fought in arenas. Most gladiators were slaves. Some were criminals who were sentenced to death and given a choice, execution or the arena. Some were so desperate for money that they sold themselves into bondage willingly. There's a documented contract from 2nd century Egypt where a man literally agrees to fight until he dies in exchange for cash payments to his family. The point is this: you're here because society decided you don't matter. And now you're trying to figure out how to matter anyway.
Your cell is underground, in a complex called the Ludus Gladiatorius. It's organized like a military camp. There are maybe 100 of you down here at any time, organized into groups by fighting style. Thracians carry curved swords. Murmillos carry large shields and short swords. Retiari use nets and tridents. Provocateurs are heavily armored, match against each other. You're not sure what you are yet. The editors, the games directors, haven't told you.
The guards feed you. It's thick barley porridge mixed with ash. The ash is intentional. Roman doctors believed it helped fighters gain muscle mass. Archaeologists have found this documented in medical texts and confirmed in skeletal remains. Fighters who ate ash-enhanced food had denser bones and more muscle mass than the general population. So the food is actually optimized to keep you alive longer. Not because they care if you live, because a fighter who dies on the first day is a waste of money. You eat the porridge. It tastes like death smells, but you eat it anyway because you know you'll need the strength.
Around midday, a guard comes to your cell. He points at 3 men. "You 3, come." You look at the other 2. One is scarred from dozens of fights, probably a veteran. The other is younger, maybe 18, shaking visibly. They lead you up to the Ludus training ground. It's a courtyard open to the sky. A few hundred spectators are watching from raised bleachers. Not the real crowds yet, just the curious, the wealthy merchants, the slave owners. But they're watching. The weapons master is waiting. He's a massive man with a prosthetic leg and a scar that goes from his temple to his jaw. He survived thousands of fights before they retired him. When he walks, the ground seems to shake. "You 3, he says, "fight for me." This is the audition. This is how they decide your category. The 3 of you are given wooden swords and a basic shield. The weapons master points at you and the scarred veteran. You fight him. This is it. Your first decision. You can A. Go aggressive. Attack hard. Impress them with your strength. Show them you're dangerous. B. Go defensive. Let him attack. Learn his style. See what he does. C. Refuse. Tell them you want to die rather than fight. Option C seems insane, but it's documented. Slaves in the arenas sometimes refused to fight. The protocol was simple. They'd be executed on the spot, publicly, as a warning to others. But you'd die anyway. At least it would be quick. Let's say you choose to go defensive. You raise your shield. The scarred man attacks immediately. He's fast, faster than you'd expect for someone with that many scars. He knows exactly where your shield weaknesses are. He's exploiting them. You're backing up, not landing a blow. The crowds in the bleachers are laughing. You're losing. Something shifts. Your instinct takes over. You're not thinking anymore. You're moving. You sidestep his attack and hit him across the face shield with your wooden sword. It's not a killing blow. It doesn't matter. The crowd reacts. They like that. They saw something there, a moment of adaptation.
A moment where you stopped being afraid and started being smart. The weapons master stops the fight by raising his hand. He looks at you. He doesn't smile. He just nods. You'll be a Murmillo, he says. Shield and short sword. You're heavy hitter material. Slow and strong. Stupid but effective. He's not complimenting you. He's just describing you like you're a tool, a hammer, not a person.
They move you to a different cell. This one is with other Murmillos. These are your brothers now. The men you'll train with every day until you die. One of them, a man named Crassus, tells you the numbers. Gladiators have a survival rate of about 19%, he says. 1 in 5 of us walk out of the arena alive after our first real fight. Most are dead before their 5th fight. You ask him how long he's been here. 8 years, he says. This is statistically almost impossible. He's the miracle, the one who should be dead but isn't.
The other fighters teach you the basics: how to hold the sword, how to position your feet, how to use the shield as both defense and weapon, how to breathe when you're exhausted, how to keep fighting when you want to stop. One of them, an older man named Titus, pulls you aside. Listen, he says, the editor doesn't care if you fight today or next week, but if you do fight today, you need to understand something. The crowd screaming gives you information. If they're excited, keep doing what you're doing. If they're bored, change it. If they're angry, they want blood. Give them something beautiful first, a moment of skill, and then you give them what they want. What do I do after the fight, you ask? You'll know, Titus says, because if you're still conscious, you'll be alive. Around sunset, a guard comes to your cell again.
The editor wants to see you. This is bad. This is either very good or very bad. The editor is a wealthy politician named Marcus Flavius. He's in his 50s, draped in fine cloth, gold rings on every finger. He's holding a tablet listing the games scheduled. You're the new Murmillo, he says. It's not a question. Yes, sir, you answer. We need 3 fights tomorrow. 3 deaths. The crowd wants deaths. The emperor's paying for his nephew's games, and he wants a good show. You'll be the 3rd fight. Your heart stops. You'll face a Thracian, experienced, won 17 times before, 15 kills. The editor doesn't say wins. He says kills. That's what your opponent does. He kills people. And now you're going to face him tomorrow.
Unless, the editor continues, you want to buy your way out. This is the secret system that only the wealthy ever learn about. Everything in Rome is for sale, even death. How much, you ask? 5,000 denarii, a year's wages for a skilled worker, a fortune. You have none of it. And I guess you're fighting, he says, and he dismisses you. You're back in your cell. You can't sleep. The adrenaline is too high. Your mind is racing. You have 2 options, really. One option, run. Tonight, there's a chance. The Ludus guards are drunk. The door to the courtyard isn't locked. You could escape into Rome. You're a slave, so you'd be hunted, but at least you'd have a chance. Another option, fight. Face the Thracian tomorrow. Maybe die. Maybe survive. Maybe the crowds like you, and you become valuable. Maybe you buy your freedom, like Crassus did. Titus is awake in the cell next to you. You can hear him breathing. I can get out tonight, you tell him quietly. I know, he says. Why shouldn't I? He's quiet. For a long time. Because running means you spend the rest of your life running, he says. You fight and you survive. And maybe you win your freedom. And then you own yourself. Not because society gives it to you, because you earned it. Because you were brave enough to walk into that arena knowing you might die, and you walked out anyway. He pauses. My son, Titus says, he thinks I'm a failure because I'm a slave in the Ludus. But his mother, she knows I feed the family with my fights. I buy her status. I give her things. I'm a murderer and a slave, but I'm also the man who takes care of my family. You understand? The guards wake you before dawn. They give you new armor. It's ceremonial, painted leather and polished metal. You're not wearing this because it will protect you. You're wearing it because you're entertainment. They lead you out. The Colosseum is massive. It's the sound of a whole civilization focused on one moment. Your Thracian opponent is already waiting in the arena. He's tall, confident, carrying the curved sword like he's done this 1,000 times. He probably has. The editor stands up and announces the match. From the Ludus of Marcus Flavius, we present Gaius, the Murmillo, against Sextus, the Thracian. May the best warrior survive. The crowd roars. And then there's silence. Just you, him, sand, and
80,000 people watching. This is the moment. This is where everything you've learned matters. This is where your choice to fight instead of run matters. This is where you find out if you're someone or nobody. Sextus attacks first, and you respond. Whether you survive or not, something happens in that moment. Something that archaeologists have been trying to understand for 2,000 years. In the mass graves of gladiators found across the Roman Empire, researchers have found something unusual. The skeletons show massive trauma, repeated injuries, evidence of incredible violence, but they also show evidence of care, healed fractures, injuries that were treated and recovered from. These men lived hard lives, but they also lived with each other. They supported each other. They grieved each other. They mattered to someone. In 79 AD, Vesuvius erupted and buried Pompeii. Among the bodies preserved in ash were gladiators from the Ludus. When archaeologists excavated them, they found something striking. Many of them had crowded together in the same room at the moment of death. The theory is they stayed together. They didn't try to escape separately. They faced it together. That's what your choice tonight means. You chose to face something impossible rather than run from it. You chose to be part of a community that understands what that means. You chose to be someone rather than no one. And whatever happens in the next few hours, whatever the outcome, that choice is yours forever. For nearly 400 years, gladiators fought in Roman arenas. Most of them were slaves. Most of them were property, but they became legends. Their names were carved into stone. Children played with toy versions of their armor. Crowds wore amulets of their faces. They were slaves who became immortal. And they did it by walking into a place where they might die, knowing they might die, and choosing to do it anyway. That's what happened in the Colosseum on this day 80,000 years ago. A man who was nothing decided to become something, and the whole empire watched.